LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing, co-hosts Brian Schmidt, PJ Noodleman, and producer Dangerous Dan Margetta. Call the show anytime at 414-421-7901. And now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
No, it's not Todd. Todd is on vacation. I'm PJ Noodleman, kind of anchoring things for him while he's out of town, and joined as usual by our roving reporters, Brian Schmidt. Welcome, welcome.
Hello. Good morning. Back home after being in Chicago last weekend.
Indeed. You and Dan Margetta.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, we're back home. Todd's not just out of state. He's out of the country. I think he's in, France, I think is where he's at.
I don't know. Somewhere having cheese.
Germany.
Germany.
He was there for a while, and I thought he was going to France. I don't know. He sent me a text this morning. Who drove the number 68 or the number 22 car in 1968? And I'm like, I don't know. But there was a Dodge, wherever he's at, with the number 22 on it. And I actually had to look it up. It was Daryl Derringer. But I'm like, why am I getting this text in the morning from...
It's like he's oblivious that there's a big time gap between him and us. Anyway, as mentioned at the top, Brian, you and Dan took the jaunt down to Chicago and were at the race. Talk a little bit about that. How much different was it from last year? What were the good things? What were the bad things? And my goodness, Cody Ware, holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it's still a cool experience being down there, but the entire vibe of the event was, I think, completely different than what we've had for the first 2 years of it. I mean, the first year it was something new and really cool. The second year, you're going back there hoping it doesn't rain. You can have a normal event. And this year, we had the normal event without the rain, but just the whole vibe, the amount of people, I think, was down. You know, there was a lot less suites like we talked about. But the competition on the track was pretty good. I mean, SGV kind of laid a whooping on them, but very interesting race. From our viewpoint early on, we got to see the Carson Hocevar incident where he came through turn 10 and clobbered the wall and then wadded everybody up. I was looking right out the window. That was one of the few areas we could actually see from our hotel room, Dan, and we got a good view of that one, right?
Oh, yeah, pretty good seat for that deal. And pretty much having the whole race on. I thought it was a pretty decent event. It came down to that with SBG out front, and was it Briscoe that was running them down?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Briscoe and Reddick. Reddick was actually in third and had the fastest car at the time. And
you're wondering, well, what would a late caution do on this deal? And he almost had one with that Cody Ware wreck, and I'm kind of surprised they held it until they crossed for the white flag. I was kind of, at first I figured, okay, we don't want to make a mess out of this deal, but then after I saw replays of that wreck, I was like, whoa, they probably should have threw that one right away, because that was more than just a normal wreck.
Yeah, and I think the thing that chaps me is after it's over, we too were watching it on TV, and the camera points to the car and the tires, and it looked a lot like Larson the year before, and we're like, I don't throw a caution for this. But then after the fact, after you start seeing the video of it, and you see he hit that head on at almost 100 miles an hour. I think they said 96 point some miles an hour is what the data showed after the fact. You're like, well, what's going on here? And then you hear in the post race NASCAR's saying, well, we didn't have a good view of it and all that.
But they have corner workers.
Well, right. Yeah, this is a road course. And anybody that knows anything about road course races, your eyes are the corner workers because you can't have a camera everywhere. And I watched the video of it. There's some spectator in that corner behind the fence that shows that car go in there, and you can hear him yelling, oh bleep, and you can see the corner worker key his mic saying, we got a car hard in there. And right after that, you hear Cody Ware say, I need help on the radio.
That was sad.
I'm wondering, where's the disconnect? How come the corner workers relay to whoever was listening up in the tower, where there really wasn't a tower, you're in a truck somewhere in a back field, didn't relay it to the race control, throw the caution right away to get an ambulance over there. But fortunately, Cody is okay, but that could have been a lot worse. And for NASCAR to think of anything but safety after that corner worker reports what happens is a travesty.
And didn't he report that his Hans device was broken?
His Hans device broke, where it attaches on his helmet broke. Basically, his entire safety gear, he said this week, was shot after that wreck. I mean, thank God he had it on. I mean,
no
I
kidding.
Can't imagine what would have happened if we didn't have the safety enhancements we've had in the last 25 years in NASCAR, but I mean, still, it's one of those deals that you can't be thinking about anything. If you want to preach safety to us, which is all we get, which in the spring Atlanta race, we didn't get a good finish because you're preaching safety, and then something like this happens, and you claim you didn't have a good camera view of it, but yet you have safety workers out there that are supposed to tell you what's going on. the inconsistency is the only thing that's consistent with NASCAR.
Ouch. Well, one thing that is staying consistent is we're still doing road racing this week as we head to Sonoma. It's a little different animal, obviously, than the street racing, which is a little more brutal, as we saw. But SVG seems to be like the man of the hour. He's already had a good run in the Xfinity race out there in Sonoma, and they're going to be running out today, 2:30 from Sonoma. Thoughts on how he's going to do today, boys?
Well, right now he's doing pretty well. He's on the pole, and he is the road course guy in NASCAR right now lately. I mean, he seems to have it all down pat. It's interesting that, you know, he hasn't come around on the ovals really yet, and it's such a difference between the ovals and the road course for him. You can have a guy that's, you know, he was 30-something in points when he won at Mexico, and now he maybe moved up to the high 20s, but he's going to be in the playoffs, and he could get another win today. That would give him 3 wins in the season and would tie him for the most, you know, on the season, and put him pretty high up in the playoff standings. And it's kind of interesting how that works with a guy like that really doesn't have it on the ovals yet, but can get it on the road courses.
And we still have Watkins Glen on the horizon, too, before the playoffs. So, as we stated before, there's a shot he could have 4 wins. Now, you know, today is going to be a little – he's still going to have his challenges because there's still a lot of good, you know, people out there. And unlike the street circuit, there's a lot of guys that have a lot of experience at Sonoma, but I'd still say he's the odds-on favorite by a lot.
So, did any of you watch the Sonoma race or the Xfinity Sonoma race?
I
saw parts of it.
Yeah, I did, and the finish was really, really good. It came down to Connor Zilich and SVG, and it looks like Zilich is the guy that could really challenge on road courses. And the thing with Zilich is he's good on ovals too. You know, he's kind of the complete package there. And Zilich won it. SVG was tracking him down and, you know, didn't give it to him. He raced him pretty rough and pretty hard, but not dirty. Let's put it that way. He wrapped him in the back a couple times, but didn't run him off course or didn't hit him hard enough to shove him off the course. And Zilich took it well, I thought. He didn't get intimidated by it and won the race. So it was actually a pretty good race. I wonder if that wasn't another junior motorsports car in front of him, if SVG would have to hold harder, but still, it was a very good finish.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. William Sawalich ended up finishing 3rd in that race as well. He's become quite the little road course racer as well, too, picking up the win in the ARCA series. That was a slobber knocker. Oh, my goodness. But a good race nonetheless, too, for the ARCA boys and girl.
Yeah, very entertaining into that. I mean, Sawalich, I thought he was kind of screwed at the end there, and then he just drove it in there coming into that final, was like turn 11 or at Sonoma there, and drove it in hard, and the other 2 guys knocked themselves up, and he snuck by him and was able to carry on for the win. So for ARCA on a road course, that was very entertaining because sometimes their races can be really hard to watch.
And you realize SVG now is going to be seated 4th going into the playoffs. 4th when he was like, what, 30th in points? I mean,
we have a lot more road courses, though, too.
Yeah, I mean, there's, 6, and they're talking maybe 7 in the schedule, and that Brad Keselowski kind of came out with it this week that said maybe that's too much, and I kind of agree a little bit with him. We were an oval series, and then I realized the car was supposed to race better on a road course. It hasn't. It's actually raced the best on the 1.5 miles, which is why we got the road courses, because we thought the 1.5 miles didn't race well with the old car. It just kind of flipped everything around. I do agree that maybe 6 or 7 road course races is a bit much for a NASCAR schedule. Like Brad said, you have IMSA, which is your road course series. But, I don't make the decisions, and I'm not sure if I have my hand on the pulse of where all the TV people are and where the markets are and the viewers are. I'm just a race guy that likes to do good racing,
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of all the road course racing, but I'll take it. I mean, it does give opportunity for a guy like SVG to really shine, and I think that it is kind of fun to see him take everybody to school every so often, too. So we will chat a little bit more about the road course today at Sonoma, and we got a call when we come back. This is the LTN Hour.
This Sunday, it's the Small Car Nationals at the Slinger Super Speedway. See the National Compact Touring Series battle top drivers from across the country, plus the Wild Twin V Challenge. Family 5-pack, just $40. Get tickets at SlingerSuperspeedway.com.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
The summer heat is on, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800. Or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
Right now, the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
There was a confrontation between Tyrese Halliburton's dad and Giannis after the game. Grown-ups ruin everything, by the way. What are you doing on the floor? You have no business being on the floor. Let your son handle his business on the floor, not you. Go hug your son.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays at 8 a.m. on Fox Sports 920.
Welcome back to the LTN Hour. Todd Bailing on vacation overseas. It's Brian Schmidt, Dan Margetta, and me, PJ Noodleman, holding the fort down here at home. Got Greg from Milwaukee on the line. Hello, Greg. What would you like to chat about?
Well, I have two comments and a question. First of all, thank you for the Ernie Irvin interview a couple of weeks ago. I really enjoyed those types of shows. Secondly, I want to give a shout out to the CW18 for the weekly Infinity race. I miss the Tony Stewart weekly races, and having the Infinity race on every week has really added a lot of interest, including the road courses. So thank you to CW18. My question is, do you know who and when did the first burnouts? When did that start as far as NASCAR? I don't remember them going back all the way to the Petty years. So I don't know when the burnouts actually started and who started it.
You mean like the victory burnouts?
Yes,
Okay. I don't honestly know that either. Good. Thanks for calling, Greg. We'll chat about that here. Dan, do you know? You're kind of our eidetic memory.
It's fun to do it. It wasn't. It was fairly recent. You know, a lot of times I think those guys back then didn't do it because they you didn't want to ruin your engine. First of all, doing it burnout afterwards. So I'm going to say it had to be probably
somebody whose dad was writing checks.
Probably, and as the guys came in, as the young guys came in, I think that's what happened. I know I should go back and look and see who was the first person to actually do it. It had to be. I'm guessing probably like 2015.
I mean, on the IndyCar side, was it Alex Zanardi that was like the first one that they spun the donuts way back when he was running IndyCar, and it was like the first time you really saw anybody do it in all forms of motorsports. I want to say it was Alex Zanardi.
Yeah, I know. I know when Kenseth won his first one in 2000 at Charlotte, he slid through the grass, and that they didn't do actual burnout on the track where he smoked everything up. Was it Kyle Busch? Maybe was he the one?
Matt Votty thinks it might have been Harvick.
Okay, yeah, it could have been him. I know Kyle Busch did the burnouts because he had the whole routine where he came out of the smoke and did the bow.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't either. But that's a good question, Greg. Thanks for the call on that. I do think that the money definitely plays a role because the old school guys do not want that. I mean, even I know Toby has never really allowed Ty to do that because he doesn't want to wreck the engine, right? So there is something to be said for respecting the equipment or being a spectacle for the fans. I guess it's your choice. Well, we are in Sonoma today. We did talk a bit about how ARCA race on Friday. William Sawalich won that, and then Connor Zilic picked up the win for the Xfinity Series. What do you guys expect to see here today at Sonoma? It's probably not going to be as chaotic as Chicago because that road course is a little tight in spots. But you think we're going to have a good show, bad show, a yawner? What do you think?
They're usually pretty exciting there, I would say. It's going to be SVG gets out front and who has something for him. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Who does, and then the strategy of it. What's going to be the pit strategy? How is that going to lay out? What are the teams going to do? Where do the cautions fall? But I don't think it's going to be an SVG runaway, right, Dan?
I don't think so. I mean, everybody kind of says that's the way it's going to go. We said the same thing about Chicago, and he won that one too. The strategy thing plays a big part of it. I mean, the crews have a big issue in here, especially the crew chief guys. If you're not way out front, you can kind of short pit and kind of flip the race in your favor a little bit. And I think I might see that happen. And there's some guys that can probably challenge him. I mean, AJ Allmendinger's a road course racer. I think he doesn't have a win this year, and if he's going to get in the playoffs, he's going to need one. And it's here or Watkins Glen now. It's coming down to same with like Michael McDowell. I'm not sure how the Spire cars seem to have an issue in practice where they're all spinning. But here's another road course guy that way. Plus, there's some other guys you don't think are road course racers that might step up on his place, especially if we have like a
Chase Briscoe. That's the one I think is the biggest surprise. He's really seems to get the hang of this road course stuff. He's starting second. He's right up front. He had a really good car last week as well. Kind of surprising to see him up there.
What do you attribute that to? Because he's not a guy who's normally been turning left and right.
No, it just seems to be a theme with some of the dirt guys that moved up there, and it's been a while since Chase ran on dirt consistently all the time. But the dirt guys seem to be the ones that grasp the road course stuff quicker than others.
Didn't he run some? He ran with Ty in that Multimatic team for a while.
The Pilot Challenge stuff for IMSA. Yeah, he did some of that when he was with the Roush development thing. So he's got the road racing experience. But yeah,
wonder about how much is sim a part of it. I mean, how much does transfer over to the real thing? Not because those sims are really, really realistic. And if you know what you're doing as a driver, could you get in a simulator and actually put that into onto the real life and on the track when you get there?
I think that's a great point, Dan, and I do think that is playing a big role. I think a lot of times the older generation has kind of scoffed that off, but as Brian mentioned, the technology has gotten a lot better, and there's a lot of knowledge to be gleaned from sim racing for sure.
And they're able to scan the track so well, like the bumps are even in the right spots. I know at Road America they got the trees in the right spots, the people that run sim for that track. It's all about your focus points and your landmarks and the things you use to determine where your braking points are, and they say at a place, especially like Road America, as long as they don't cut any trees down close to the track, it's like they got it right on there for the most part, and it's really good. So, yeah, I think the sim thing has a lot to do with it, especially with some of these young kids getting better at it. Ty Gibbs is another one. I mean, I think if you're going to see Ty Gibbs win his first race, I think it's just as good a chance as any. It's going to be at a road course, either here or Watkins Glen, because he's good at that. He looked really good last week at Chicago as well, and
he's rolling off second today. So yeah,
sixth. Ty Gibbs starts sixth. Yep, Briscoe starts second today.
Oh, oops.
So, yeah, there should be some, there's some guys out there that are going to give SVG a run for his money, but still think he's going to be hard to beat.
For sure. We got another caller on the line. Let's head to Paul from Racine. Hi, Paul. What's up?
Happy Sunday, everyone. Brian, you're absolutely correct. The first person in motorsports who did the donuts turnout celebration was Zanardi. I know you're up in that Elkhart Lake area. I don't know if you remember, like in '96, the IndyCar race, it rained.
Yeah, okay, that's when it was. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and he came in turn 5 on the cool down, and remember he stuck his hand out the cockpit, and he was twirling his hand like, you guys want to see donuts? And everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do remember. I was there for that race, but I didn't remember what year it was. Yes, thank you, Paul.
I think it was like mid '90s. And then I do remember being at Bristol. It was like 1999, I think. And Tony Stewart was running the Home Depot car. I don't know if it was the Xfinity. Dan would probably know better in '99. The Xfinity or the NASCAR. But I remember him smoking. I think I even have a photo of it, too, of him like smoking the tires. So I think it goes back that far anyway. On the NASCAR side of things. But, yeah, you were absolutely right on that.
Well, Brian, it's always good to get confirmation. You're right.
Still can remember stuff, I guess.
It's not just Dan who remembers things.
Yeah, it's not just Dan, although Dan is unique.
He's got that eidetic memory. Thanks so much, Paul, for calling.
Appreciate it.
Yes, and we'll be back in just a bit with more news on racing.
This Sunday night, don't miss the Small Car Nationals at the Slinger Super Speedway. One of the most action-packed nights of the summer. See the National Compact Touring Series battle the best drivers from across the country, plus 4 more divisions, including the Wild Twin B Challenge. It's nonstop thrills on the fastest quarter-mile oval in the world. Racing starts at 6:30, and a family 5-pack is just $40. Grab your tickets now at SlingerSuperspeedway.com.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
This is The Herd.
Wow, 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 wow.
With Colin Cowherd.
He now is eligible for $380 million with the new CBA, and I would have no problem writing that check. Unlike Luka, I don't question his fitness. I like Donovan Mitchell. I don't think he elevates teammates quite as much as SGA does.
This is The Herd. The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays at 11 on Fox Sports 920.
Welcome back to the LTN Hour. Todd Bailing on vacation, so you're stuck with us. PJ Noodleman, Dan Margetta, and Brian Schmidt. Dan, that lawsuit status continues, or the lawsuit continues, and it's getting a little ugly now for 2311 and Front Row Motorsports.
Yeah, it sure is. They had that injunction that let them compete as chartered cars while that lawsuit was going on, even though they didn't sign that charter agreement. They lost to the 3 judges on appeal. They tried to appeal to the full court, and that got denied this week too. So now they're kind of stuck. I mean, that injunction is going to expire July 16th, which means at Dover they could be treated as open cars, and not just the 4 charters that we thought that those 2 teams bought from Stewart Haas, also the 2 they already have. So I mean, we could have 30 chartered cars and 10 open spots going forward, starting at Dover. The biggest thing on that is the financial hit, because unchartered cars make way, way, way less money than chartered cars. It's a ridiculous amount that you lose that way. As far as making the fields, I think they'll be okay that way, because we haven't had a full field of cars. We had the Daytona 500 we had last week at Chicago, and that was it. Those are only 2 races. Unless other teams decide to start fielding cars in here to try to get in the race, if that open money is going to somehow get spread around, how they're going to do that could come up. I mean, last week, if this would have been in place last week at Chicago, Bubba Wallace would have missed that race because he would have a charter. That's the big thing. The other thing that's out there is as we knew from when they got this injunction in the first place, that there's contracts, especially Tyler Reddick's contracts, has a clause that says, if he doesn't have a chartered car, he becomes a free agent. So now, you know how NASCAR is and how the business is when a really highly sought after guy becomes available, and he is one. He's a difference maker kind of driver. I mean, it's like sharks of blood in the water. They're going to come out and try to take him. Now, will he stay loyal to the team he's with? I don't know. I mean, you think he would, although he wasn't too loyal with Childress when he went over there where he's at the first place.
Yeah. What is the end game here, though? Do you think NASCAR just wants to bring 2311 and Front Row down to their knees and then they'll hug it out? Or do you think that they're going to cut off their nose to spite their face to basically annihilate one of the larger teams in their sport?
It's interesting. I don't know. I would think the best thing is to just both sides settle. I mean, I don't. Even if either side wins, how do you really win? I mean, 2311, you win, okay, great, but
now what?
Right. Now what? There in NASCAR, you win. Well, you lost Michael Jordan, which was a huge,
asset,
really, because there's all kinds of the pull he's got and everything else. It's great to have him here. You don't want to compete against him. You like to have him on your team, and you like to work together. Now, on the other hand, do you send a message that says, anybody else want to try this? I don't care who.
And like, what happens to the charters? Because you have X amount of charters available. I mean, does NASCAR just acquire these charters?
Right.
Or,
that's another
will
good
they
question.
Sell that? I mean, this is the weird part about creating something that now has this massive value to it, but yet it's not something that you have in your hand that, it's not 2311 can't say, all right, I got this charter. This is mine. Here's what we're going to do with it. NASCAR is basically saying if you don't sign it, it just vanishes.
Which is weird.
Yeah, and that's the really weird part about this whole thing is the semantics of it and where do these go? Where do these things actually end up when this is all said and done? Like, all of a sudden, can those two teams say, all right, we're going to sign now that we didn't sign last year, and then everything goes back to normal again? It's really weird. Like you said, the end game for this is you don't really know where the end game is.
No, and the thing is, I don't think either one of the sides thought the other would keep going this hard.
Right.
I think it was just a big old game of chicken or unit measuring contests. And it's somebody's stepping on their unit on this one because it's going to.
And then I heard something on one of the national shows the other day talking about it as well. So now you got Dodge sitting out there thinking about coming into this. There's a possibility that NASCAR could just create 2 more charters if there's a team that wants to be Dodge. So there is no set amount. I heard them talking about this, that there's X amount of charters out there. If NASCAR deems it important to create 2 more charters, they could create 2 more charters.
Right.
Just think about that. All of a sudden, you're just you're going to just create 2 more because you want another manufacturer coming in. They have the right to do that, and they have the right to make their field as big as they want. We used to have 43 cars, so if you want to make it all the way up to that point, you could do that as well. So this whole charter thing is just so cloudy and murky and muddy. Just makes it hard to do business on a regular basis if you're a team.
Right. And it makes you wonder, too, what the other teams who have signed are sitting here thinking and watching, and I'm sure a lot of them are either glad they didn't join in or some of them probably worried about what's going to happen now.
Well, they probably happy with the deal that they signed, and I get that, but, if it all goes away, what are you going to do then? I mean,
yeah.
And NASCAR's argument is that 2311 and Front Row, just because you didn't get what you wanted in negotiations doesn't mean you can go the lawsuit way to get it. I mean, the comment that Judge made in that one of the other hearings that said you guys are doing the best to burn down the roof over your heads.
Mm-hmm.
So true. I mean, I just don't know how if either side wins, it becomes a great win and what happens. And okay, yeah, you won, but everything's gone. Did you really?
Right. Did you really win? Yeah. And I think that is something that a lot of people lose sight of, and maybe it's because NASCAR got a little bigger for their britches, and even the 2311 Front Row maybe felt like they were getting a little big for their britches. I don't know. The fact of the matter is there is nothing in this world that is ever perfect, so you have to kind of make do with what you got.
Go back to the open wheel side with the whole split that happened in '96, with the CART and the IRL thing. Who won that, and did they really win? I mean, look, IndyCar still hasn't really recovered. They're starting to come back now, but look at what it did. It just destroyed things.
Yeah, and we're almost, 30 years removed from that? Right? Was that like 96, 97, and now we're in 2025? So
They say history repeats itself, right?
Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it.
Amen to that. We'll be back in just a bit. This is the LTN Hour.
Like Alice Cooper saying, school's out for summer. So what are the kids getting up to with all the free time? Well, some of them are just playing in the dirt. Let's go racing!
Plymouth Dirt Track Racing. Saturday night, it's a special appearance from the High School Racing Association. Plus, a full race program featuring the 360 Sprint, Dirt Devil, Grand National, P-Mods, and the Super 6 late models. Gates open at 4:30. Dirt flies at 6. Tickets $15 for adults, students $7, and kids 11 and under free with paying adults. Details at PlymouthDTR.com.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
The summer heat is on, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
This Sunday night, don't miss the Small Car Nationals at the Slinger Super Speedway, one of the most action-packed nights of the summer. See the National Compact Touring Series battle the best drivers from across the country, plus 4 more divisions, including the Wild Twin B Challenge. It's non-stop thrills on the fastest quarter-mile oval in the world. Racing starts at 6:30, and a family 5-pack is just $40. Grab your tickets now at SlingerSuperspeedway.com.
Right now, the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
Flag football, I don't get this. The NFL was really proactive in getting flag football into the LA Olympics. If I'm the Dolphins owner, am I letting Tyreek Hill play? No. Am I going to let Joe Burrow play? No.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays at 8 a.m. on Fox Sports 920.
Welcome back to the LTN Hour. Again, Todd Bailing on vacation overseas, so it's just the three of us back here. And chatting just a quick bit here about the Bowman Gray coming back onto the schedule in 2026. They will be hosting the Clash once again on Saturday, January 31st. What is everyone's thoughts about returning to the Madhouse again?
I actually was a little bit surprised that they actually did it. You know, there was a lot of clamoring that they should, but I really thought NASCAR was going to try to take this event and move it around. January 31st in North Carolina, that's taking a little bit of a risk. I mean, I'm glad they're doing it, though. I mean, I am. I'm glad that they're going to do it again. I thought it was a good show last year there, and, I think they deserved another shot, especially putting all the infrastructure improvements into the stadium. For them to have it only once would have been kind of foolish, I thought.
Is it January 31st or February 1st?
January 31st and February 1st, 2-day show.
Okay. And I think it's good to go back there. I mean, I thought it was a pretty good deal the first time around. It's kind of a neat area to have something like that to open a season, and the weather is kind of the thing you're going to have to really kind of battle, I think, that time of the year there. But as far as putting it there, that's a race town. It's a racing community. It's a good way to pump up your season and get going as long as everybody buys into it. Now, if you make it somewhat pretty either profitable or prestigious to win, I think you can maybe do something with it there. So the guys aren't just riding around and make them really want to have to race that thing and do it. We'll see how many years it stays there. I guess it's kind of the whole way the schedule goes right now. Is anything set in stone other than maybe the Daytona 500?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean the other thing set in stone is that we're going to have the championship race at Homestead. So I mean, just think about this in a calendar sense. We raced at Homestead on March 23rd, 2025. We're not going to race there again until November of 2026. That's a long break there, and obviously they're going to do some renovations there to have the place ready for the championship race. But I mean, other than that, I don't think there's a lot of other set in stone events on the schedule. And here we are now, middle of July. It's kind of surprising.
Not really, considering they've been embroiled in a lawsuit. So they probably haven't had as much time to devote to it. But I do think it's fitting to have something called the Clash again at a place that is known for clashes. But it was a pretty good race, all things considered, this last year.
Right, and the other things, the moving parts we have is, Chicago, talked about that, probably not going to be back there next year from everything we heard, highly doubtful, but talks about going to San Diego. So if you're going to roll out a race in San Diego next year, this was about the time, if you remember back in 2022, when most of us up here were disgruntled because we were going to lose our Road America race, this was the time they were going to roll out the Chicago race for the following year. So if they're going to be racing in San Diego next year, one would think within the next month here, we're going to have to hear about it, what the plans are, where they're going to do it, what time of the year they're going to do it at. I don't see them doing that in the middle of summer. I would think a San Diego trip would probably be maybe a 3-race swing at the early part of the season, which really gives them a short time frame to get that race rolled out.
Good point, Brian. Good point.
Think about that. And if that San Diego race does come to truth, and we do run that, if I say it's a 3-year deal like Chicago was, does that kind of put Auto Club kind of out of the deal? They're not going to build that track there because they'd have their Southern California market.
Right.
Do we still think they're going to build that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
And if you look at the schedule right now, the way it's set up, this year's schedule, if you were to envision a San Diego street race, you could almost pluck that into where COTA was this year, because they ran COTA, then they went to Phoenix, then they went to Vegas. So you could almost, maybe put that at the back end of that, which would be late March. Still, that's giving you a short time frame to roll this out. So, I can't see NASCAR making those teams run to the West Coast 3 separate times, because you already have Sonoma out there, and it was a big enough logistical nightmare after talking to truck drivers last week and going from Chicago back to North Carolina, all the way out to Sonoma. Now they're coming all the way back here and then going to Dover. If you want to try to keep it more compact and a little more easier on the teams for travel, you would think you'd want to tie that in with your West Coast trip.
And you got to look at what dates you're going to have. I mean, are we going back to Mexico City? I don't think so, but you never know. They really like having that one there. They also want to do an international race. I mean, Montreal still around there. They're talking about that if they can get that something figured out. Last couple of years, they always had that popping race that was like, wow, we're going to do this, and we haven't had that for next year anywhere yet. Find out where it is. If it is a Montreal race, it'd be that. But how long can they keep doing this next best thing kind of thing? We keep
right,
and it's only sustainable for a year or 2, maybe 3 years tops, and we got to find something else. It's great for the optics and all that, but you're not making any money, and you're probably losing money on these events, right?
Yeah, and that was the big thing people talked about with the Chicago race, was that was kind of like NASCAR. They lose money on the event, but it was like them having a big advertisement for their series. But that's an awfully expensive way to do it. The other question is, are they going to go back to the Oval in Chicago? A lot of talk last weekend about that. When do you go there? And the 4th of July seems to be a difficult weekend for them to figure out where to go. Before we came to Road America, we were at Chicago for a couple years on 4th of July weekend. Didn't do well crowd-wise. You went to Road America, massive crowds for the 4th of July. It was camping. It was, after that first year, you had people saying this could be the new tradition. Well, that went away not because of the crowds, but because of the interactions between the series, NASCAR not owning the track. They like to have more control over all that kind of stuff. So that kind of went away. So where do you go on the 4th of July? I don't think the Chicago thing has been really good. The only other thing I could think of is maybe Watkins Glen would be a place to go on the 4th of July. There you'd have the camping. NASCAR owns the track. You would have the big, holiday type atmosphere. Other than that, Dan, where else do you think you could go on the 4th and be successful other than Daytona maybe?
Yeah, they tried Indy and that didn't work. They went to Daytona for years there, and then, maybe it would work there. But I think the city of Daytona says, we like the August race because, you know what, people come to Daytona anyways for 4th of July weekend for vacations. Now we have 2 weekends where we can, make some money in this town.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts, and I mean, I wouldn't want to be the people in that room trying to figure out a schedule right now because.
Well, it's like herding cats. It's like herding cats to get all the things to line up in time.
Yeah, I mean, they've been pushing a little bit with the weather already. Trying to run some of these races in early March in climates that aren't really conducive. Going to Martinsville in March. Ooh, you don't know what you're going to get there. Texas is all right, but yeah, it's difficult.
We'll be back with some results after these messages. LTN Hour.
IndyCar is back at the Milwaukee Mile August 23rd and 24th. The Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250 weekend features a high-stakes NTT IndyCar Series race on Sunday, and the free fan zone will be buzzing with energy all weekend long. Don't miss out on the non-stop action. Get your tickets now at WIStatefair.com for an electrifying IndyCar experience at the Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250 weekend, August 23rd and 24th.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
The summer heat is on, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800. Or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Step back in time at the WeatherTech Vintage Weekend with Brian Redmond, July 17th to 20th at Road America, featuring over 400 historic race cars and a century of motorsport history. Don't miss the stunning Concours d'Elegance in Elkhart Lake, or this year's incredible showcase of historic Formula One cars and the US RRC Invitational. Witness the cars, hear the engines, and feel the legacy. Get your tickets now at roadamerica.com. WeatherTech Vintage Weekend, where racing history lives on.
Right now, the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
Anthony Edwards, when you're drafted that high, it's like, okay, we want to see what you have. Anthony Edwards is 23, so you got to be fair to the timeline here, because we were looking for the next Jordan for how long? Well, we're still looking for the next Jordan. Anthony Edwards, he reminds me of Jordan. No, not me. Not yet.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays at 8 a.m. on Fox Sports 920.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
I think we've reached what we call the dog days of summer now that the 4th of July has passed us here, but still lots of racing going on across the country. We'll start Tuesday up in Eagle River, Wisconsin. USRA Limited Lates, Cade Nelson was your winner. The IMSA Stock Cars was Hot Rod Snellenberger. Boy, he's on a roll up there. That's got to be at least 4 wins for him already up there. Also Tuesday night, Sweet Springs, Missouri, the USAC Amsoil Nash, or the USAC NOS Energy Drink National Midgets. Ken McIntosh was your winner. And also in Maryville, Indiana, the Shady Hill Speedway for the UMP Summer Nationals as they started their final week of competition. Zach Mitchell got the win Tuesday night. Wednesday night in Beloit, Kansas, the Mitchell County Fairgrounds for the USAC National Midgets. Drake Edwards was a first-time feature winner. And Montpelier, Indiana on Wednesday for the UMP Summer Nationals. Cody Overton grabbed the win. Thursday night, Butler, Michigan for the UMP Summer Nationals. Mark Whitener grabbed the win. This is an interesting stat for the Summer Nationals. After Mark Whitener's win Thursday night, that was the 14th different winner on the series. That is incredible numbers for they had. And they had 10 different guys run the entire series. So Summer Nationals looks very, very strong.
It's 30 races in 33 days, right? So almost half.
Yes.
They're a new winner.
Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive numbers for that series. Also, Thursday night in West Burlington, Iowa, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series was at 34 Raceway for $15,000 to win. Garrett Albertson grabbed the win in a very entertaining race that I watched. Got the lead right at the end. He led a bunch of it, lost the lead, and then snapped it back with about a lap to go. Friday night up in Menominee, Wisconsin, the Red Cedar Speedway. For the Wissota Late Models, it was Jesse Glentz, and the Wissota Modifieds was Jake Hartung. Fountain City, Wisconsin, at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway, the USRA Modifieds, Rodney Sanders was your winner. Crystal, Michigan, for the UMP Summer Nationals, $10,000 to win. Zach Mitchell grabbed his second win of the weekend. Hartford, Ohio, the Sharon Speedway for the World of Outlaw Real American Beer Late Model Series, $12,000 to win. Bobby Pierce was your winner. Wheatland, Missouri, the Lucas Oil Speedway for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. Ricky Thornton Jr. got back on the victory track. He hadn't won a race in over a month. Shockingly, that's crazy to think that as much as he wins. And in Union, Kentucky, Friday night at the Florence Speedway, the High Limit Sprint Cars made their debut there for the Kentucky Sprint Nationals. Night number 1. Night number 2 was rained out last night, but night number 1 went to Brad Sweet. Last night at Plymouth in the MSA 360 Sprints, Alex Pokorski was your winner. The late models, Justin Smith with a late race pass of Brad Miller to pick up the win for him. It's been a couple years since Justin won a feature, so good to see him back in victory lane. The Dirt Devil Grand National Series, Matt Lohr was your winner. Francis Crick, the 141 Speedway, in the modifieds, Johnny Whitman. The stock cars was Josh Morawski. Shawano in the late models, Andy Carl was your winner. Modifieds, Lucas Lambries, and stock cars was Travis Welsh. Up in Ashland at the ABC Raceway, the Wissota Modifieds went to Marcus Dunbar. Rice Lake in the Wissota Modifieds went to Shane Halapka. New Richmond, Wisconsin, Cedar Lake Speedway in the late models, Nick Panitsky, former asphalt racer, was your late model winner there. USRA Limited Lates went to Cade Nelson. Knoxville, Iowa, the 410 Sprints went to Brian Brown. His 69th feature win at Knoxville. Whew, that's incredible. In the 360s went to Riley Goodnow. Wilmot, the World of Outlaw Nosh Engineering Sprint Car Series was there. Night number 1 was rained out Friday night, so they had only one race there this weekend. A massive crowd there. Buddy Kofoid was your winner. The IRA Wingless Sprints went to Tyler Cuxhouse. Wassian, Ohio, the Oakshade Raceway for the UMP Summer Nationals. Zach Mitchell got the win. They'll finish the Summer Nationals tonight. Somewhere in Ohio. I forget the name of the track, though, but they finish it up tonight. Hartford, Ohio, Sharon Speedway for the World of Outlaw Real American Beer Late Models, $15,000 to win. Went to Mike Marlar, who passed Bobby Pierce right at the end to pick up the win. And finally, in Wheatland, Missouri, the Diamond Nationals for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. Brandon Shepard grabbed the win. That's his second win now in 2 weeks on the Lucas Tour. And that is everything we have for this week. Next week, big money racing, I believe, at Eldora, the King's Royal, and all the other things that go with that for the sprint cars. So big racing next week.
On to the asphalt side of things. Last Sunday at Slinger, it was the prelude to the Nationals. The Midwest Truck Series was there. Brad Miller was your winner of that. Tuesday night were the Slinger Nationals. Ty Majeski in that Toby car picking up the win. And a lot of the cash, too. Big thank you to Craig Zeller, Dan Casey, and David Oslus for raising over $23,000 from the crowd to put up for the lap money. That makes it easily one of the richest, if not the richest, short track race of the season up here.
That's a lot of fun helping all those guys do that kind of thing, because Matt and I kind of helped them out for that deal. And not only does everybody want to involve that, but it's just meeting everybody. You get to meet all kinds of people.
Yeah.
Great way to network, and especially going out in the parking lot. Matt and I did the parking lot. You would be surprised how many listeners are out there in that parking lot. We came back and they're like, "Hey, it took you guys long enough to go through the lot. We had to stop and talk at every campsite."
Good stuff. Late model winner on Tuesday night was Brady Bill. That was quite the thriller as well, too, so congrats to him. Thursday night, Wisconsin International Raceway. Late model feature winner was Alex Stumpf. Super late model winner, Chad Butts. Friday night, Norway Speedway. The winner of both super late model features was Joey Pomprand in his Toby car. ARCA Series, we chatted about that out in Sonoma. William Sawalich winning that one, squeaking her out with a lot of slobber knocking going on. Yesterday and last night, Marshfield Motor Speedway, the John Brevitt Classic super late model feature winner was Jared DeBoer. He also had the fast time in his Toby car. Grundy County Speedway, Big 8 style late model winner was Frank Beldowski. The Dells had a big event going on last night for the Deachins Memorial. Modified feature winner was Larry DeVito. Late model feature number 1 went to Mike Litchfield. The second late model feature winner was Jacob Gady. CWRA winner of feature number 1 was Mark Mackesy, and the second CWRA feature went to Corey Jankowski. The Cars Tour was at Hickory down in North Carolina. Pro late models in action. Keelan Harvick was your winner. Caden Quapple was second, and Kevin Harvick third. Not a bad podium, eh? What's that?
Kevin hasn't beat his kid yet, has he?
He has not. Keelan is 3-0. ASA Midwest Tour at the Hawkeye Downs last night. Casey Johnson, his first time ever going to race at that track, and he wins the event, the 100-lapper. Congrats to him. and his team. Slinger has the Small Car Nationals tonight to the National Compact Touring Series, Super Bees, Legends, Bandoleros, Sport Trucks, Super Cups, Slinger Bees, and Spectator Races going to be going on. I want to remind everybody, if you have a home and you got a chimney in it, you should really look at doing a chimney inspection every single year. You don't want to lose your house to a fire and all of your memories in it. Chimney Mechanics with an X. That's Chimney Mechanics, X with an X.com. They're in Shawano, and they're offering $25 off this month just by mentioning LTN. So inspect your chimney, prevent the fire, and Chimney Mechanics can help you get that done quick and easy. They are quite the organization as well, too. They are master chimney sweeps, so they have technicians who are certified for wood, gas, pellet, hearths, and dryer vents. Yeah, your clothes dryer vent, too. So get in touch with Chimney Mechanics with an X.com. $25 off this month just by mentioning LTN.
And they are big supporters of racing. So
heck yeah.
Support those that support the sport.
And take care of your home, too, right?
Like Alice Cooper saying, school's out for summer. So what are the kids getting up to with all the free time? Well, some of them are just playing in the dirt.
Let's go racing! Plymouth Dirt Track Racing! Saturday night, it's a special appearance from the High School Racing Association. Plus, a full race program featuring the 360 Sprints, Dirt Devil, Grand National, P-Mods, and the Super 6 late models. Gates open at 4:30, Dirt flies at 6. Tickets $15 for adults, students $7, and kids 11 and under free with paying adults. Details at PlymouthDTR.com.
IndyCar is back at the Milwaukee Mile August 23rd and 24th. The Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250 weekend features a high-stakes NTT IndyCar Series race on Sunday, and the free fan zone will be buzzing with energy all weekend long. Don't miss out on the non-stop action. Get your tickets now at WIStatefair.com for an electrifying IndyCar experience at the Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250 weekend, August 23rd and 24th.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Step back in time at the WeatherTech Vintage Weekend with Brian Redman, July 17th to 20th at Road America, featuring over 400 historic race cars and a century of motorsport history. Don't miss the stunning Concours d'Elegance in Elkhart Lake, or this year's incredible showcase of historic Formula One cars and the US RRC Invitational. Witness the cars, hear the engines, and feel the legacy. Get your tickets now at RoadAmerica.com. WeatherTech Vintage Weekend, where racing history lives on.
This is The Herd.
Wow, 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 wow.
With Colin Cowherd.
He now is eligible for $380 million with the new CBA, and I would have no problem writing that check. Unlike Luka, I don't question his fitness. I like Donovan Mitchell. I don't think he elevates teammates quite as much as SGA does.
This is The Herd. The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays at 11 on Fox Sports 920.
Welcome back to the LTN Hour. Todd Bailing on vacation. It's me, PJ Noodleman, along with Brian Schmidt and Dan Margetta. Playoff picture is getting a little bit tighter. We'll check in with here Brian Schmidt on that. It's as we head into Sonoma. Bubba Wallace on the bubble, and Ryan Preece right on his tail.
Yeah, that's the closest one right now as far as tightening up your bubble. You know, Bubba with his shenanigans at the end of that race with Alex Bowman last week at Chicago didn't do himself any good. I mean, he surrendered a lot of points by playing so rough there at the end, and now he sits 2 to the good. Ryan Preece is 2 out. Chris Buescher is 15th, 35 to the good. Alex Bowman, 39 to the good, and Tyler Reddick, 143 in. So that's it. There's only 4 spots open right now because we have 12 different winners. Guys who haven't won yet on the outside looking in, you got AJ Allmendinger, who has a really good shot at winning the race today. He's 43 out. Kyle Busch, 46 out. Probably going to need a win. Eric Jones, 50 out. Ty Gibbs is out. John Hunter Nemeth. Carson Hocevar, who's been running so good. He's 75 out, and his what do you call it, mishap early last week really cost him. Michael McDowell led a really good portion of that race last week. He's 77 out. One would think he's going to have a good shot, too, with 2 road courses to go here yet. Brad Keselowski's been running good. He's way out of there. He's in 28th right now, 136 out. Daniel Suarez, 136 out. He's won here before.
But
so
a win and you're in.
Yes, a lot of movement to be had yet here with a couple races, 2 road course races and a month to go yet before the playoffs.
All right, well, let's get our picks in place for Sonoma. Todd has already texted his in. He's going with Christopher Bell. Dan, who do you got?
Too easy to pick SVG, so I'm gonna try. I like going out on a limb and taking something that's kind of a chance. How about Ross Chastain?
Ooh. All right, Brian, who you got?
I'm going with AJ Allmendinger. I think he's going to throw another guy into the playoffs that was on the outside looking in. So I'm going to say AJ Allmendinger is going to get the win here, but I still think SVG is going to be hard to beat.
I'm going to go with a guy who's going to spoil and shake up everything, even though I'm not a huge fan of him, but I think he showed he's pretty good last week, and he didn't qualify too shabby this week. I'm going with Ty Gibbs.
Ooh, yeah. It would be cool to get to the 16 winners. That would be something cool to see here as we get down the stretch, and I still think it can happen. There's a lot of guys out there yet that can get some wins.
We shall see. Got a couple minutes left. You guys want to chat about any other points that you want to get onto the program yet today?
No, I just thought we had a good Slinger Nationals on Tuesday. I thought it was a pretty decent event. Had a battle of some rain again, which seems to happen every year, but got the track dried and pretty quickly now, too. And to get back racing and got the whole 200 laps in. I thought that was a good deal on the track and the crews for getting that going.
We chatted about that lap money, too. And with that lap money, that made a really big payday for Ty Majeski, almost $36,000. That's actually more than what was paid for the Snowball Derby this year. So that lap money is pretty amazing. So thank you to all the fans and businesses and people who pitched in on that, because I think that kind of makes Wisconsin a little extra special with how we put skin in the game for our short track racing.
I agree. I think that's a cool deal, and it's unique up here, and I think that's why it works. I'm not sure it would work anywhere else. I just think you got to have that kind of attitude. We're all racers up here, fans and drivers and everybody else. It's like such a part of our being up here that we have to race, and we like to see guys come, and we like to see them do well, and I think everybody likes to be a part of it.
For sure. And Brian, you did make a mention of that $50,000 to win the Snowball last year. That's because Flo put money in on it.
Yeah, and I think it's $50,000 to win this year too, I believe.
Then they must be doing it again. So yeah.
Yes,
they didn't want Slinger to have the title of the bigger the asphalt payday.
No, and we're 3 weeks away from the largest payday in the history of the state of Wisconsin coming up at Cedar Lake Speedway, where they're going to pay a cool $100,000 to win that super late model race up there. Now, it's Mississippi Thunder paid $100,000 to win its modified races the last couple of years too. So, can the asphalt catch up with what the dirt does? Boy, that would be something.
They kind of got to get out of their own way.
Yep. Big money being thrown around up here.
Pieces are there though if they want it. If they can see the big picture and put it all together, it's in place to do it. They just got to make it work.
It is. I would agree with that, but I think everybody needs to start playing nice in the sandbox with one another, and I don't know if that'll happen because egos are pretty thick in auto racing.
Seems to be the case. Yes,
for sure. For sure. Well, guys, we survived our first round without Todd. He'll be back in 2 weeks, so it'll be us alone again next week yet, too. Todd is on vacation overseas. So it is just us, and we'll try to land this plane as lightly as we can. Shortened Hangover Show up next, if you stick around. For Brian Schmidt, Dan Margetta, and Todd Bailey, I'm PJ Noodleman. Thanks for tuning in to the LTN Radio Show.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.